Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. My name is Darryl Kwao. Coming up this afternoon, government to open 50 warehouses nationwide to augment current 30,000-ton capacity. Also coming up this afternoon, a rise in inflation rate for the month of May influenced by spikes in food prices. Plus, engineers commence repair works on Accra-Nsawam rail line. We've got details of those stories coming up. Do stay with us. On the marketplace, in our first story this afternoon, the National Buffer Stock Company says it will commission 50 warehouses in July as part of efforts to shore up storage capacity by government. The 1,000 each capacity warehouse will be used as storage facilities for government business. Odilia Ntiama spoke with the CEO of the Buffer Stock Company, Hanan Abdul Wahab.
Plans are also far advanced in the coming days for us to do a formal handing over of the warehouses that are ready. You know, the special initiative have awarded 50 number warehouses of 1,000 metric tons capacity. So out of that, 32 number is ready. And the Ministry for Food and Agriculture have also awarded 30 of 1,000 metric tons capacity. And out of that, 14 number is also ready. So we are going to have 14 plus 32 that are ready, that can be used immediately. So we have also started a procurement process of getting pallets into these new warehouses. So we'll clean, fumigate, and then station our pallets and then start purchases in the next coming harvesting season.
Well, let's tell you why our first story was important, because inflation rate for the month of May 2020 has been pegged at 11.3%. This is a jump from 10.6% recorded in April this year. Government statistician Professor Samuel Kobnenim explained at a press briefing the rising cost of food contributed to the increase in the May rate.
In terms of contribution to year-on-year inflation, we see food as the major contributor, and food is contributing about 56 percentage points. Again, in April 2020, we saw food inflation contributing close to 60%. So the contribution of food has slowed down in May 2020. Then on a month-on-month basis, we see another further decrease in the contribution of food to overall inflation. So although food continued to dominate its composition, its contribution to rate of inflation, between April 2020 and May 2020, we see a slight drop in the contribution of food to both year-on-year inflation and month-on-month inflation. At the disaggregated level, we see food inflation recording a 15.1 rate of inflation relative to the 11.3 rate of inflation that we recorded for both food and non-food inflation. If you look at the average, that is the 8 months preceding March 2020, that is when we did a rebasing in August 2019, up until now, we've gone up by about 2 times the rate of inflation for food. So the average between August 2019 and February 2019 was 7.9% relative to the 15.1 that we are recording for May 2020. Non-food inflation for the month of May 2020 was 8.4%. Again, if you compare the average between August 2019, when we did the rebasing, up until February 2020, that is, we exclude April and May, we see an average of 7.8%. In this regard, we see just a marginal change of 0.6% for non-food inflation. Locally produced items continue to dominate imported items by about 3 times, where locally produced items has an inflationary rate of 14.1% relative to imported items contributing 4.8%. Again, we largely associate these variations of about 3% between imported items and locally produced items to the closure of our borders and the high demand on our locally produced items.
Now, the Ghana Railway Company Limited has mobilized its engineers to begin work on the Accra-Insalm rail line. Now, this follows some distraction caused by the rains. Taking the media on a tour along the lines, Deputy Managing Director of the company, Engineer Michael Aboagye-Wiafe, expressed confidence that the work, which is currently ongoing, will be done soon to resume shuttle services.
We are in consultation with the governing board of GRCL because, you know, it's not easy to run trains. It's quite expensive. Even what we do, we don't even break even. You understand? So if we want to go further by observing all the social protocols, that means money to even buy fuel is going to be a problem. So we are in consultation with the board, together with our sector minister, who are working seriously to make sure that at least we resume train services. There are pockets of areas where we have what we call washout. You know, as a result of the surface runoff, some of the ballast, these small stones, have been washed away. And as you can see, we have our maintenance guys who are attending to those places, you know. So everybody's at work, and we very soon will be done with it. Yes. To touch on encroachment. I mean, those of you who were with us in the beginning, you realize that we did massive demolition exercises, right? We got rid of most of these temporary structures, the squatters, but they keep coming back. They keep coming back, and it's come again. Well, from now I can't give you any plan because the only plan I have in mind is to come back and demolish the structures. You understand? But you don't do that in isolation. You need to consult before you come and then do such demolitions.
So all those people here are squatters?
They are squatters. They are squatters. And most of their structures are sitting on drains. You know, so it makes the silting very difficult. And at some places, it also causes, you know, flooding because water cannot find its way, you know, onto the storm drains.
All right, you're at the marketplace. We want to take you to the ports now, and freight forwarders are asking the president to step in to address the chaos at the Tema port since the implementation of the new customs management system. Importers have been struggling to clear goods for more than a week now. Joining me via phone is Adom FM reporter Kwame Yanka, who was at a press briefing organized by the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. Good afternoon to you, Kwame. So what are the freight forwarders saying?
Good afternoon, Dario. As you stated earlier, well, the freight forwarders are asking the president at this point to see this as an urgent call or SOS to say, well, before the things get out of hand, according to them, the new system, that the integrated customs management system, which took over from GCNet and West Blue in terms of port operations, seem to be worsening those conditions at the port. In fact, according to them, revenue loss at this point cannot be calculated because to them, whatever was done electronically is being done manually without the needed provision or what's supposed to be for the country to realize as much as possible in terms of revenue. They also stated when it comes to information or call center, now earlier with the earlier existing system, they were able to file their complaint to be addressed. But this one, you call and according to them, nobody responds. And in case their response to this, you are not satisfied, you personally have to walk in where you are better off not even going. They also raise the issue of security, where let's take Daro having entered some details. If another agent or stakeholder at this point gets into the system, he or she is able to see whatever you put in or input you made earlier. So they believe the new system, in fact, is below average or not as far as being promoted by government at this point. So they are asking government to meet all stakeholders at this point to ensure that the items that took over from the internet is able to function properly.
Okay, just give us an idea what is happening at the ports today. We know that the clearing agents had to resort to manual clearing of goods. Is that still the situation?
Yes. Because as it were, the new system is in its second week, and nothing, according to them, nothing has changed. And that's why they are sending an SOS message to the president to reconsider the decision of implementing this very system, because according to them, the earlier sitting challenges or the problems that would have been encountered, were to be addressed within the first 72 hours. But for 10 days into operations, there's nothing new. They believe things are compounding, making their flight much worse than they would have thought. So they believe there's a rush through thing where government will really have to reconsider its decision of implementing this very system.
Okay, so I know that they are calling on the president to intervene. Do they plan on going a step further to try to meet anybody at the presidency?
Okay, well, they have their own means of going about things, but they believe going through the media at this point would draw the president's attention, and then other stakeholders, because apart from the freight forwarders, the other stakeholders in this, the shipping lines, the agents, the other traders who are believed to play a very important role in this operation when it comes to the port operations. So it's high time government met all these stakeholders halfway, ensure that whatever challenges that have arisen from this very system are addressed, to ensure that the country is not just losing revenue, but the other effects this very system is likely to have on the country if it's allowed to go through.
All right, thank you very much, Kwame Yanka. He is a reporter there on the ground at the Tema Port, telling us about that press conference held by freight forwarders asking the president to intervene in that chaotic situation we have been reporting for days now at the ports. And just to give you an idea of the impact, so the Automobile Dealers Union Ghana, they have been briefing the press today, talking about the situation at the ports and how that could impact on the cost of vehicles that are imported into the country. Take a listen.
Look at it critically. It was orchestrated by some people, and those people are there. So if we don't want to even expose their negligence to the general public, the better thing that we can do is just to save the situation, for us also to have access for our cars that are stuck at the harbour.
So in that sense, if a car, for instance, you clear a car for 20,000 Ghana cedis, and now with these Unipass issues and the price or the cost goes up, is it the case that are going to pass it to the consumer?
Yes, of course, because any person who is selling something, no matter the cost the person is going to incur during the process and put that cost on him, he will definitely pass it on to the consumer. And at the end of the day, the consumer is going to be the sufferer. So we want everybody, at least, to involve in this matter. Like I said, those who matter most in this situation should be brought to book. It's an issue. There's no matter that we cannot talk and then resolve them. If only that the authorities in charge are prepared to solve the issue, they can solve it as easily as something. But as it becomes something like this man is pulling here, another person is also pulling here, a lot of statements coming from all over. So we don't know the actual issue that is happening now. So we want them at least to speed up things to make things happen for us.
Should this whole thing prolong for, let's say, a month? What would be the effect on your business?
The economic impact will be very great. Not our businesses alone. A lot of people also are having goods there that are stuck. It's going to affect them also. It shouldn't continue after that time. If it happens like that, it's going to affect so many things. We are going to pay a lot of money in addition to the duties. And we are going to also pass it on to the consumers. And consumers also need to go and find extra money to come and pay for. So we don't want it to continue after that time. They must speed up things and then get the solution for this situation as soon as possible.
You're watching the marketplace. Away from the ports, the amount of money spent by the Bank of Ghana on currency issuance for last year witnessed a significant increase. According to its 2019 annual report, the amount went up by more than 100% to hit 312 million cedis. JoyNews has more.
The 312 million Ghana cedis, we understand, covers the cost of printing new notes, reissuance of existing worn-out notes, and agency cost. Now, that's the cost the Bank of Ghana incurs when it has to rely on specialized institutions to handle the Ghana cedi in areas that the central bank might not be present. In terms of the actual breakdown, the cost of agency fees, however, declined from 2 million Ghana cedis to 1.9 million Ghana cedis in 2019. Note printing, which could cover the cost of reissuance of existing notes as well as new denominations, went up significantly to hit 306 million Ghana cedis, while other expenses, however, declined from 4.8 million Ghana cedis in 2018 to 3.9 million Ghana cedis in 2019. In terms of the actual amount of Ghana cedis in circulation, as at the end of last year, the Bank of Ghana annual report showed that it was pegged at around 16.2 billion Ghana cedis. However, the total value of coins and notes that were issued was pegged at 31.5 billion Ghana cedis. The 50 Ghana cedi notes had the highest amount of currency in circulation, which is about 5.9 billion Ghana cedis. For many, the huge jump in the amount of money used in managing an issuance of currency for last year may raise a lot of questions, and as to whether the decision to print new high-value notes might have contributed to this.
So if you have been following the news this week, you may have heard hotels demanding that they're included in the 3-month free water supply due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the Ghana Water Company has asked them to direct their concerns to the presidency. Meantime, some of the hoteliers in Kumasi say it has become difficult to operate even after government relaxed the restrictions. Prince Apia has more.
Ordinarily, this parking lot will be filled with a number of cars, but now, because life is yet to bounce back to most of these hotels, this is the scene we are experiencing. Sunset Hotel is one of the well-patronized 3-star hotels here in Kumasi. We speak to Ernest Nananto, who is the manager.
Because as compared to lockdown, the patronage were not all that encouraging. But for now, I think we are having 2 or 3 people a day, which I think is not that bad. In fact, looking at how things are going now, the conferences and other things are not coming.
The other challenge, though, is the cost of utility that these hotels have continuously absorbed, even though revenue is difficult to come by.
The patronage too is down, and then the utility bills are high, huge, very, very huge. In fact, as I'm speaking right now, I think the April Bay, that's for electricity-wise, I think it's 39,000. And then the light water bill too, it was 10,000 plus. I think it's only the electricity that we are benefiting half relief. But for water, I spoke to them and then they said, no, we are not part. In fact, the hotel setup is basically on utilities. So if there is a way out to go for the water system, I think we can go for it because the water bill is too huge for us now.
Prince Apia reporting.
The Ghana Trade Fair Company is optimistic of meeting its 2020 deadline for redeveloping the facility into a 5-star hospitality enclave. This is coming after the company got the green light to carry out the plan after some tenants took the managing director to court to halt ongoing demolitions. There are also fears that COVID-19 pandemic could also seriously affect the project, but Chief Executive Dr. Agnes Edu says there is no cause for alarm. She has been speaking to my colleague Sandra Afenu.
Courts ruled in our favor. What it means for the project is that now the project can fully go ahead. We are still in the demolition phase of the project. So anything that stalls the project or any court action that we are able to deal with successfully, it means that the project now can fully move ahead.
Right, that's certainly a good news. But you had a 2022 deadline to complete the project. Looking at what is going on globally, and I'm talking about the COVID-19 pandemic, what does that mean? Are we sticking to the deadline of completion, and are your investors and also financiers ready to carry on with this project?
Right. You know, the world, the globe has come to a standstill. We woke up one day and suddenly you can't move. I think that this government's main focus at this point is to make sure that our health is first and foremost. So it's good that we've switched our attention and our focus to make sure that citizens in Ghana stay safe. So I see that people are following the protocols that the president has laid out. What this means, this COVID pandemic means to the global economy is that it has slowed everything down. So undoubtedly, this project will be affected. A lot of our investors and interested developers who have come on board and even are yet to come on board have halted. Clearly, they cannot travel into the country. And even the way that the global economy was hit so hard, a lot of investors have to think twice about bringing on board new investors. But with that said, we are still sticking to our 2022 deadline to at least finish the Convention and Exhibition Center, which we think we can still meet. Of course, we will have some setbacks, clearly, as everything has come to a standstill. But a lot of the processes that we have to go through are still ongoing. Even nowadays, I'm talking to you on Zoom, so a lot of our meetings with investors and government officials have now switched to Zoom, so we are still able to work. So we think we will be able to meet that deadline, maybe a quarter, a month here and there behind schedule. But I think we are still optimistic. Have you been speaking to these investors, and what have they been telling you about your dream to stick to this deadline? Right. I think we are lucky that most of the investors that have already come on board, although their services and also their timelines will be affected, they are still on board. So we are optimistic. We are happy about that. A couple of investors that we were hoping to come on board have slowed down a little bit, but that's understandable. I think that in the coming months, we will be able to move forward.
And that was Dr. Agnes Edu. She's CEO of the Ghana Trade Fair Company Limited. Ending the marketplace this afternoon. Thanks for watching. My name is Darryl Kwao.